Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Waterbury Board of Education regular meeting. We'll begin tonight with a memorial.
Thank you, Madam President. In moment of silence this evening, let us remember Mrs. Maureen McCarthy and Mrs. Catherine Berman. Mrs. McCarthy was a teacher in the Waterbury Public School System for 24 years who passed away on Sunday, May 7th. She spent her entire teaching career at Wendell Cross School, retiring in February of 2017. Also this evening, let us remember Mrs. Catherine Berman, who passed away on May 9th. Catherine worked at Chase School for 14 years. Both Mrs. McCarthy and Mrs. Berman were committed members of the staff who took pride every day in their work and were a tremendous asset to all their students. Let us remember both this evening for their service and dedication to the students of the Waterbury Public School System.
Thank you, and let's also keep in our prayers the victims of the terrible fire last night on Lounsbury Street. We had several students who were impacted and their families, so please keep them in your prayers. Commissioner Sweeney, would you lead us in the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez. Commissioner Pagano.
Here.
Vice President Rodriguez.
Here.
Commissioner Stanko.
Here.
Commissioner Sweeney.
Here.
Commissioner Theriault. Here. Commissioner Jason Vanstone. Commissioner Todd Vanstone.
Present.
President Brown.
Present. Okay, we'll go to number 4 on the agenda, communications. A copy of communications dated April 28th from Civil Service certifying Cindy Small for the position of paraprofessional. Email communication dated May 4th from Robert Goodrich regarding community letter regarding suspensions. Email communication dated May 4th from Danielle Albert regarding tag follow-up. Copy of communication dated May 5th from Civil Service certifying Jason Rosato for the position of HVAC technician. Email received May 6th regarding petition to allow Crosby to graduate on June 9th. Email communication dated May 12th from CABE regarding policy highlights. Copy of email communication dated May 15th from Kalia Hardy regarding dress code. An invitation received May 16th from Waterbury Retired Teachers Association to their 23rd annual memorial celebration. May I have a motion?
Motion to receive and place on file communications is read.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you. Next is public address to the board. All speakers are encouraged to submit prepared written statements to the commissioners. Comments shall be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. There will be no responses this evening to any questions or concerns raised. They will be referred to the administration for review and response. Could I have a motion, please?
Motion to suspend the regular order of business to hear from the public.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you. Danielle Albert.
Hi, everybody. I did not think I would be here to speak for a second time on the subject of math teachers. However, about 3 weeks ago, Gilmartin has now gone through its 4th math teacher transition of the year. First semester, we had a real live state-certified math teacher. However, terminated to be replaced second semester with a building sub, a lovely lady, Anne Marie Shelton. Parents weren't notified of the change from the school. I only found out from my daughter and an agenda at a board meeting. My husband and I were reassured everything would be okay while administration continued to interview. I tried to let the process work while Ms. Shelton worked with our math coach. Just as she was developing some consistency with the material, our children and parents, third semester news comes home once again from our children. Ms. Shelton is returned to building sub, being replaced with another lovely lady, Ms. Burnham. Was it the school or the district that decided a non-certified, non-math teacher was an appropriate replacement for what was temporarily working? Another transition, and again, no one was made aware until after the fact. Days after my third meeting with the principal, we find out Miss Burnham is gone and Miss Shelton is back. How is this proper protocol? I'm going to share a few of my 7th grade concerns. Miscommunication on testing dates, the wrong homework assignments being assigned, not receiving any work home for almost the entire 3rd semester. For 3 semesters, I asked for hard copies of assignments so I could follow my daughter's progress and be assured that she was being responsible. After 3 semesters, I was given copies of worksheets that never even went home to the students. Was any work actually taking place, or was it, let's give this mom some worksheets and maybe she'll be quiet? My husband and I have done everything for Elizabeth. I attempt to follow progress book, which is never updated. I ask for communication and get minimal. I have met with the principal, the teachers, the math coach 4 times this year. Elizabeth goes on iReady, and I have her work with a private tutor, and still she's coming home with 50s on in exams when I'm being reassured by the math coach she's a good student. Who exactly is responsible for consistent oversight and monitoring, because it's not happening? Are our children's needs being put on the back burner because of contract guidelines or just the almighty dollar? Or is it because people aren't doing their jobs? As a district, we are fortunate enough to have multiple leaders, a chief academic officer, ILDs, a talent director, a math department supervisor, a director of teaching and learning, an entire board of education. This district can afford almost $1 million in administrative salaries, but you mean to tell me, as a parent, collectively, no one can properly staff the math department? There's no excuse not to ensure my daughter and her classmates have more than adequate math instruction. And as the test scores indicate in black and white, we are still at the bottom. 7th grade is imperative in high school placement. I have said this before, I will not sit here and watch you fail the future of my daughter and cripple her chances of getting into a high school that she deserves because you are allowing the math department failure to affect them. You cannot put our children through another year like this, nor can our children spend another year of retaking exams because the entire class is failing. I have spoken to almost a dozen parents. Some have been to the principal in downtown already. Many wanted to come forward tonight but feel they will get nowhere. Some city workers are afraid for retribution of their jobs and on their children, but they all see these things happening and know their children deserve better than what they are getting. And I have 2 letters from concerned parents who feel the same way that I do. 4 math transitions, 4 visits to the principal's office, each time being reassured that the children are on track. The only saving grace has been Don Schulenberg, our math coach. He is a wonderful resource, and it would be a disservice to burn him out. Ms. Shelton, Ms. Burnham, they're only temporary solutions to this nightmare of a problem. Someone qualified needs to be found to teach our children, and with all due respect, it does not need to go to the curriculum committee. It's irresponsible to have teachers learning as they go with our children, and the lack of consistency is going to continue to fail them right into high school. And just indulge me for a moment. As an example from today, there was supposed to be a test given. The kids knew about it. My daughter studied for it. She worked with her tutor on the material. And when she came home today and I said, "Hey, Liz, how'd it go?" She said, "Mom, we didn't take the test today. I think it's going to be on Tuesday now." We can't do this again next year. Our kids deserve better. Thank you.
Thank you. Melissa Grossman.
How are you? Thank you. I, too, am here to speak on behalf of the math teacher situation at Gilmartin. I have 3 kids in Gilmartin right now, and next year I will have 4. In 3 years, my son will be in 7th grade. I know that it's a little premature to be worried, but I do worry because I don't want my son to suffer like the students at Gilmartin are suffering right now. I hope that this is going to be rectified by then. This was the case as well last year, and I know firsthand because I was a long-term sub for the math teacher position in 7th and 8th grade from about November to January when one of the other teachers was the teacher was hired. I taught for 3 months and brought them from the beginning of the year in September when they had problems with the math teacher to where they should have been in January in a matter of 2 months. This is scary as a parent because with the lack of consistency, it ultimately will affect my children in the long run. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Goodrich?
Good evening, Superintendent, Board of Education Commissioners. My name is Robbie Goodrich. I'm here to address the mass suspension of 156 students at Wilby again. The community respectfully requested the superintendent and the mayor to conduct an independent investigation on the mass suspensions at Wilby. We're not surprised that Corporation Counsel was the one who responded on their behalf. Their silence on this issue undergirds most of the reasons why Waterbury's most efficient piece of infrastructure is our education system. Now, one of the many responsibilities the Board of Education takes on is one of governing. And I must say, a governance model that rejects community calls for action is a troubled one. A governance model that lacks the power or mechanisms to intervene on behalf of the people that it was created to serve is a sterile one. If this board is unwilling to take on a vibrant case of egregious and rogue behavior, how can students, parents, and community members continue to have faith that this board is willing to take on issues that stay hidden from public view? This is more about transparency and trust than anything else. Now, RACE is a three-person organization, but the letter represents nearly 20 community members and a multitude of organizations from our city and New Haven County. They're some of our most involved community members. As of today, just 2 board members have responded to us, made known their position. While we don't agree with their position, we respect that they actually responded. It's head-scratching that no one else has. So under new business, we ask that each of you reveal your personal positions on the community's requests that were sent to you on May 4th. So, it's no secret that Wilby has had a persistent and troubling history under its current leadership. In December of 2015, a Wilby High School employee implored the district, leadership staff, the Waterbury Police Department, and the Wilby staff to investigate the unstable and dangerous school climate at Wilby. Behind closed doors, hidden from public view, an investigation was conducted. What did this investigation yield? Parents and students deserve to know. We have reasons to believe that many of the unstable and rogue habits of Wilby's administration still exist today. This endangers both students and staff. On tonight's agenda, under the superintendent's notification to the board, is a retirement notice for the Wilby principal who orchestrated the mass suspensions. And school principals are primarily responsible for school climate and school performance. So we also ask the board to debate in new business your positions as it relates to reconsidering this retirement agreement until an independent investigation happens about the incident on April 21st. We've respected the chain of command and appealed to the local leaders. But I can guarantee this board, as this incident has gained national and international attention, over 90 national newspapers carried this story, 10 international newspapers, that there are other organizations that have already volunteered to intervene on the community's behalf, as well as institutions. So we implore you to reveal to the public your positions on our requests or to actually move forward on an independent investigation. Thank you.
Lisa Lazar?
I apologize for that.
It's not our policy to mass suspend.
Okay, I'm here this evening in accordance to, and don't worry, I won't say names, to your transitional programming here in the city of Waterbury, 18 to 21 program. Yet again, I think it's my 3rd or 4th time now. Okay. Basically, remember last meeting when I was here, I explained about outside agency under objectives and goals for internship jobs. Well, that has not happened from January 19th, 2017 to this date of May 18th, 2017. And I'm still waiting, and so is my daughter. Believe it or not, the solution this city came up with was this. Please look into this. My daughter got to school by bus, left my house at 7:48 in the morning on the a.m. Monday, the 15th, 2017. She got to school, and the teacher told her, you don't belong here. You need to leave. They called bus personnel. Do you know what the solution the city came up with? The solution is, until internship outside agency starts, my special educational child is to stay at home. Tuesday she goes to school for 5 hours. Monday, she wasn't in school, per district's orders. Wednesday, per district's orders, not in school. Thursday, per district's orders, not in school. Friday, per district's orders, not in school. Now, children are graduating from this community college, NVCC, Naugatuck Valley Community College, June 9th, 2017. My daughter, sitting at home, doing what? I'm giving her homework from me, the parent. She should be in school, says her IEP, Individual Educational Plan. Says every page of her Individual Educational Plan. This is discouraging. My daughter was so upset on Monday. She, remember, diagnosed anxiety, was crying her lungs out. If I had a way of getting her to the emergency room, I would have got her there. But Connecticut Paratransit, you have to give 24 hours notice. Seriously, this is not okay. Why is my daughter home now, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays until outside agency from Easter sales starts? Internship job, which has not started, and we don't have a date of when it's going to start or if it's ever going to start. So why is my special educational child not being specially educationally taught anything, period, except on Tuesdays for 5 hours? I would like to know that question. My daughter would like an answer to that question. Seriously, you guys are on the Board of Education, and I respect you all. But you're supposed to be educating each and all children within our district. And my daughter right now is not being educated for one reason or another. And my daughter did nothing, absolutely nothing. Her teacher told her the other day, remember, I am your last person that you can go to for a reference. So maybe you might want to tell your mother to stop putting in U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights complaints and State Department of Education formal complaints in, because I'm your last reference. And you won't be getting one from me. Remember, my daughter has an American Sign Language interpreter who confirmed that to me because she has to interpret word for word everything that's said by every person within the room. I also would like to know why my daughter is sitting in a transitional schooling where the teacher has told everybody that Mayor Neil O'Leary has not paid them what they're worth, and she doesn't understand why. They used to get $1,250 for tools and school supplies, and now they're not getting that amount. Why does my daughter have to know that? Why does any transitional schooling child have to know that? How much they're not getting and how much they were getting. And I would like to know why our students were told that Waterbury is called dirty water. My daughter came home, turned on the faucet, and said, I can't drink this water anymore. It's dirty. She asked what that meant. So did the rest of the students. They went into the corruption of the city. Really? Is that the education we're teaching our children, the corruption within the city? You might want to check this special educational teacher, because my daughter doesn't take a history class at all, whatsoever, period. Our children deserve better, as all the parents here said, and I don't believe my daughter's getting it from the school system, period. And it's unfortunate. We have our house up for sale. Thank you very much.
Are there any other members of the public who wish to share their ideas with us? Please step forward. Just state your name for the record, please.
Good evening, Dian Katana. I just want to let the board know that last Monday, May 8th, between 2 and 2:30 p.m., my iPhone was taken from my desk. And, you know, I don't ordinarily have my iPhone out. Ordinarily, it's put away. But we use the Class Dojo behavior management system, so we have to take our phone everywhere we go, so we can make it obvious to students when they're doing well with their behavior or not. So the phone was taken from my desk, and unbeknown to me, my colleague was able to find it. She pinged the phone, and we found an exact address, and the principal accompanied me, and we went and got the phone. For whatever reason, 38 minutes later, he destroyed my phone, so I'm hopeful that the city has some amount of insurance that can reimburse me the $550 that it costs to replace the phone. Ironically, this all comes back to lack of special ed services, I feel, in the city. I've been here a little bit, but that same week, 3 days later, another child stole out of my desk, and everything else aside, if you don't have a guilty verdict and you address the class, doesn't it warrant some amount of attention? The children that steal, doesn't it say, aren't they screaming for something that they're not getting? Which leads me to, okay, children steal, we can't point the finger if no one's going to come forward. But also we have several students who are extremely aggressive and violent consistently. Even students that have one-to-one paraprofessional leave bruises and bite marks consistently on students and teachers alike. My colleague has a herniated disc now, and I want to know, with all, as was stated earlier, with all the resources we have at the top, why can't we draw some of those resources and get some more hands-on, because we need hands-on help on the front line. It's long, long overdue. We've never had a tag program in this city. We have, I can't tell you, countless IEPs that go unaddressed. There's no help. I've sat in PPT meetings where the supervisor has told me, I've been with a grandparent or with a guardian or with a parent, and they've been pleading, I know my child needs para support. I know they can't do this. And we've been told, well, there's no money and there are no bodies, so therefore we can't write that. And I say, I am not going to say a child doesn't need it because the city of Waterbury can't provide it. The city of Waterbury needs to provide it when a parent or a grandparent is asking for it. And when it's clearly obvious to the teacher and by her data that it shows, indeed, that's what the child needs. Picture if it were your child in a classroom, heterogeneous classroom of 25 students, and say anywhere between 5 and 8 are identified and have IEPs and require specialized services. And if you're lucky on a good week, you get maybe 15 to 20% of those services. I think it's a crying shame. It isn't my child, but I'll tell you what, I feel their pain because we're good. Teachers, we're good. I've worked with some of the finest educators in Waterbury and Bridgeport. But if mainstreaming and inclusion, it works in theory because on paper you have the help. But in practice, if you don't have the help, it doesn't work. It's physically impossible to do what they think is being done between testing and data and behavior and schedules. It's physically impossible to do without help. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I please have a motion?
Motion to return to the regular order of business.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Thank you. Superintendent's announcements.
Thank you, Madam President. 150 Crosby High School students were honored yesterday for the acceptance to college during the second annual College Acceptance Day. Family and fellow students cheered them on during a ceremony and the school gymnasium. I know some of our commissioners were there. Madam President, Commissioner Harvey, thank you for that. Kingsbury School celebrated its 100th anniversary this past Saturday with events at both the school and Fulton Park. Activities at the school included a fashion show with students as models. State Senator Hartley read a proclamation from the state legislature as well. Congratulations to Kingsbury School. Kennedy High School also celebrated its first Community Day. The large event included booths manned by several different school organizations as well as neighborhood and community organizations. The event was very well attended by parents. Generali School Annual Memorial Day ceremony will be held Tuesday, May 23rd. Student, staff, and guests will meet at the flagpole at 9 o'clock. Fifth grade students and guests will then walk to the East Farms Cemetery to place flags and wreaths on the soldiers' graves. Another announcement, Maloney's second annual Student Leadership Day begins at 9:15 on Thursday, May 25th. And Mary O'Leary's Waterbury Kids Marathon will be held Thursday, May 25th, the night of a board workshop. Registration is from 4:40 to 5:15. Marathon starts promptly at 6. And the third annual Parent and Community Leadership Conference will be held Friday, May 22nd at Naugatuck Valley Community College. Registration starts at 8, and there will be music and light breakfast. This keynote speaker will be our famous Johanna Hayes. There will be sets of workshop for parents, followed by lunch and award ceremony honoring parents volunteers beginning at noon. And our Teacher of the Year ceremony will be held at Wednesday, May 31st, beginning at 4:30 at Crosby High School. A reception will follow. All friends, colleagues, and family members are invited to attend. And that's it, Madam President. Thank you very much. I'll entertain any questions the board may have.
Seeing none, I don't have any comments tonight. We'll go to the consent calendar. Does anybody like anything removed from the consent calendar? Seeing none. 8.1, request approval to apply for the Connecticut Department of Administrative Services Alliance Districts School Buildings Grant Program second round. 8.2, request approval of a construction contract with Waters Construction Company, Inc. for pavement preservation services at Wilby and Crosby High, North End, and Wallace Middle Schools. 8.3, request approval of Amendment 3 to the agreement with College Board. 8.4, request approval to apply for the 2017-2019 CSDE Individuals with Disabilities Education Act Entitlement Grant. 8.5, request approval of an agreement with Area Cooperative Education Services to provide educational services to students per their IEP. 8.6, request approval of an agreement with American School for the Deaf to provide educational services to students with their IEP. 8.7, request approval and of agreement with Ben Haven, Inc. to provide educational services to students per their IEP. And 8.8, request approval of an agreement with Specialized Education of Connecticut to provide educational services to students per their IEP. 8.9, request approval of an agreement with St. Vincent Special Needs Center, Inc. to provide educational services to students per their IEP. 8.10, request approval of the Department of Education's Educational Technology Plan. 8.11, use of school facilities by school organizations and/or city departments. 8.12, use of school facilities by outside organizations. 8.13, waiver request of Shekinah Christian Church for the use of Wilby Auditorium. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve this consent calendar is read.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Next on the agenda is 9. There were no items removed from the consent calendar. Number 10, superintendent's notification to the board. And 11, unfinished business. Oh, we need a motion. I'm sorry. A motion for the notification.
Make a motion to
approve
receive and place on file.
Superintendent's notification to the board.
He's talking.
We already have.
Go ahead,
Second.
Felix. Go ahead, Felix.
Second. Go ahead. You making a motion? Oh, yeah, make a motion to receive the superintendent's notification of the board and place on file. Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Theriault.
I wish to recuse myself on item 10.2.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you. Number 11, unfinished business of preceding meeting only. Okay, number 12, other unfinished, new, and miscellaneous business. Okay, I would just like to mention that the policy committee has met, and we will be looking at our discipline policies moving forward, and we will be inviting key stakeholders to help us look at that, and we'll be moving forward. Thank you. Any other comments? Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to convene into executive session for discussion concerning pending claims litigation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.